Have you ever wondered how the ancient world was interconnected? What was the lifeline that linked the East and the West? Journey with us back in time, to an era where the world was a vast, mysterious expanse, and the Silk Road was its beating heart. This ancient network of trade routes was the pulse of cultural interaction between the regions of the East and West. From the sunny shores of the Mediterranean to the towering peaks of the Himalayas, the Silk Road was a vast artery of commerce and communication, an intricate lattice that connected a multitude of diverse civilizations. Yet, why do we call it the Silk Road? The answer lies in the precious, shimmering thread that was spun by the humble silkworm. Silk was a luxury item in the ancient world, a symbol of wealth and power. The trade of this valuable commodity along these routes gave the Silk Road its name. But it wasn't just silk that journeyed along this network. The Silk Road was a vibrant highway of goods, ideas and cultures. Precious stones, spices, metals and textiles were transported back and forth, generating an economic boom that spanned continents. But it wasn't just tangible goods that made their way along this route. The Silk Road was also a conduit for the exchange of ideas and cultures. It facilitated the spread of religions, philosophies, scientific knowledge and artistic styles. Buddhism traveled from India to China, while Christianity and Islam moved eastward. The world's earliest forms of paper and printing, along with gunpowder and the compass, also navigated their way from the east to the west, reshaping societies and sparking progress. The Silk Road wasn't just a pathway for goods but a corridor for the flow of culture and ideas. It was where the East met the West, where the unfamiliar became familiar, and where distant lands were brought closer together. The Silk Road was more than just a road. It was a bridge between civilizations, a testament to the human spirit's thirst for exploration and understanding. It was indeed the lifeline of the ancient world. The Silk Road story began, not with silk, but with horses. How did it evolve over time? The genesis of the Silk Road traces back to the Han Dynasty in China, around 130 BCE. However, contrary to what its name might suggest, the Silk Road was not initially about silk. Instead, it was about horses, and the Chinese desire to trade for these robust steeds from the nomadic tribes of the West. This trading route was not a single defined highway, but rather a network of overland camel caravan routes connecting China to the Mediterranean. As time passed, the Silk Road expanded far beyond the exchange of silk and horses. The route began to serve as a conduit for a wide array of goods, including spices, textiles, and precious metals, connecting the East and the West like never before. When the Roman Empire rose to power, the Silk Road evolved even further. The Romans had an insatiable appetite for silk, and this demand expanded the trade route westwards. But the Silk Road was not just a commercial path, it was also a cultural highway. One of the most significant cultural exchanges was the spread of Buddhism. Originating in India, Buddhism traveled along the Silk Road and found a receptive audience in China, profoundly influencing its culture and philosophy. Along the route, trade cities began to flourish. These were not just pit stops for traders to rest their weary feet, but they were melting pots of cultures, languages, and ideas. Cities like Samarkand and Bukhara grew from small settlements into bustling metropolises, owing their prosperity to their strategic locations along the Silk Road. So the Silk Road was more than a trading route, it was a lifeline, an artery of civilization. It facilitated not just the exchange of goods but also the interchange of ideas, philosophies, and cultures. From its humble beginnings, the Silk Road grew into a vast network, weaving together cultures and economies across continents. This is a testament to the power of human connection and the shared desire for progress, which is as relevant today as it was over 2,000 years ago. The Silk Road was more than a trade route, it was a catalyst for change. What is its lasting impact? Well, let's dive right into it. The Silk Road was not just a conduit for silk, spices, and precious metals. It was also a highway of ideas, a crossroads of cultures. Think of it as the ancient internet connecting people, ideas, and cultures across vast distances. The cultural impact of the Silk Road was profound. Picture this: a caravan of merchants from China, carrying with them not only goods but also their language, traditions, and beliefs, reaching the bustling markets of Persia. It was through these interactions that Buddhism spread from India to China and the East, and Islam found its way to the East from the Middle East. Ideas were exchanged, philosophies debated, and in this melting pot of cultures, new ones were born. The Silk Road also played a pivotal role in the spread of technology and innovations. the compass, papermaking, printing and gunpowder, the so-called four great inventions of ancient China, were disseminated along the Silk Road. These technologies transformed societies across Asia, Europe and Africa, and laid the groundwork for the modern world. In terms of economics, the Silk Road was the backbone of global trade in the ancient world. It linked the powerful empires of Rome, Persia, India and China, facilitating commerce and economic growth. The bustling bazaars along the route became melting pots of economic activity, fostering an early form of globalization. Politically, the Silk Road influenced the development of many of the world's major civilizations. It was a chessboard on which the grand strategies of empires were played out. The rise and fall of city-states, kingdoms and empires were often closely tied to their control of the Silk Road and its lucrative trade. Today, the legacy of the Silk Road continues to shape our world. It reminds us that civilizations are not isolated entities, but are interconnected, influencing each other and evolving together. The Silk Road left an indelible mark on the world, shaping cultures, economies and histories. And its echoes can still be heard today, whispering tales of a time when the world was first stitched together by threads of silk. The Silk Road is not just a relic of the past. It's a testament to the interconnectedness of our world. In our exploration, we've journeyed through the mysteries, the birth and evolution, and the profound impact of this ancient trade route. We've seen how the Silk Road was more than just a pathway for exchange of silk and spices. It was a conduit for ideas, cultures, technologies and philosophies that shaped societies across continents, and its legacy continues to reverberate in our modern world. Just like the ancient travelers of the Silk Road, we are all part of a vast network of connections. If you found this journey interesting, subscribe to our channel, like and share this video. Let's continue to explore the fascinating history of our interconnected world. Remember, history is not just about the past, it's about understanding our present and shaping our future.